Radmila now.
Hi guys, hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
Good, thanks on
Is
yourself.
yeah, all good. Thank you for joining. Great seeing you. Some of you I see for the first time, but some of you I see for the second time. So be welcome. Yeah, all of you guys. Right. So, first of all, to the people that have been teaching, how was your week? All good? Anything to mention, guys?
I had a good week, thank you.
Yeah, me too. Good teaching week.
Perfect. Okay. Right. So some of you are about to start teaching, so we're going to talk about interesting things today, hopefully useful for you, that will set the framework of, sorry?
Unity.
I can hear some. Would you guys mute your microphones while? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so hopefully we will deal with things that are going to be very useful for you and will set the framework of the relationship between you as well. So, as you know, what we are, a big community of teachers and partners. Some partners are not teachers. Some teachers are teachers and partners, and then we have only teachers. Everyone is necessary, very welcome here in the community, and everyone has its role and relevancy, and we have to know how to best interact with each other. So last week we kind of started a very interesting discussion that was raised here, and very valuable opinions were expressed regarding the relationship between teachers and partners. But I was also asked to talk about quality. So I don't know what understanding you have on quality, but when we talk about quality, sometimes I have the feeling that we're talking about very subjective things. And in order for us to measure quality, we have to base our opinions on more objective things. So we're going to start talking about that, and then we're going to see how that links also to the business part, the relationship and everything, because it has everything to do with it. Quality, yeah? That question was, or that subject was raised by one of you. So I'm very happy to start with it today, right? Quality. So guys, my question for you is, how do we measure quality? Do you know how quality is measured in something abstract as teaching? Do you have an idea or a guess? Who would like to try to answer this question? Elham, go for it.
Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning.
In my opinion, the rate, not the rate because it's like something that we cannot measure actually, but I think monitoring the process of learning can help you to find out the quality of your teaching.
Very
If you
interesting.
see like, if you see the progress in your students, in the way that they are talking, in their pronunciation, blah, 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 you can at least understand that you are doing something, you're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
But there are like some points that you have students that, this is my opinion. I'm sorry if it's not that much good, but
No.
you sometimes you have like students that they don't show any progress. In this case, I always ask two questions. Is there anything wrong with my teaching, or is there anything wrong with him or her? And this is the place that we need to get into it and like monitor again the process of our teachings. And if we find out that there is a problem with us as a teacher, we need to change our way of teaching. We need to improve the quality of our teaching. not all the students respond to like one way of teaching. So in some cases, you need to change in your like manner of your teaching. This is my
Yeah.
opinion. Sorry if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
it's very interesting. Yeah, thank you for that because you are providing an answer that is based on collecting data and interpreting them. I really like it. Yeah. So just to wrap it up, what Elham says is the progress of our students is representative for how well we're doing. That's great. And she raises a fair question. If they're not doing so great, how do we know whether it is on us or it's a problem that they might have? Yeah. So both are, I absolutely agree with that. And I'll tell you something. So luckily, we have thought about that. It's true that we collect all the progress information from the students. It is true that we collect all the inputs of the students. And it is true that when we play, there can be one difficulty regarding the second part of what Elham says. Is it because of the student or is it because of the teacher, right? So when we broaden the context, when one student has different teachers, then you can decide, then you can measure, then you can take this variation into consideration as well. Meaning, if under different conditions, or different teachers, the student is presenting difficulty, then let's see what's going on here. Okay, so this is something that a broader context can provide. It's true. Yeah. When we're talking about just me and the student that is struggling, then it's very tricky. And in this case, not only in our in language learning, but other subjects, say, you guys know that, well, I'm not going to use that, but teachers from other fields are also experiencing this question. So I'm going, is it because this student with me hasn't more to learn? There is something, yeah, so I'd rather pass that student to another teacher, or I can improve here, yeah? So this is a very, very valid question. Okay, so Blanca had raised her hand, and then Mark. So Blanca, over to you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that quality teacher is, I mean, we need to always keep in mind what do the students need to learn, specifically when we're speaking about languages. It's vocabulary, pronunciation, structures, and being able to use that in a conversation. Everything else is extra. Sure, of course, if they're, I don't know, we need to be intuitive and kind of adapt and be able to read them. And I don't know, if they're just really sad one day or whatever, then we need to kind of adapt and maybe be easier on them and all those things. Of course, go into them and being nice and friendly and all that. But really, what do they need, and eliminate everything else. The rest is just unnecessary. Building a relationship, all those things. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So something more than just how nice a teacher is, something that is based on identifying specific needs and covering them. Perfect. Okay, so Susanna, I can see that you've raised your hand as well, but let me first ask Mark just in order of, yeah, and then over to you, okay? Mark, please.
Hi, Radmila. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, first of all, what Elam said, I would very much agree with, and also what Blanca said. I think when we talk about perhaps a problem with the teacher, I think we don't want to feel that perhaps there are good and bad teachers. I think we all have great qualities. Possibly we have slightly different qualities, and I don't think it should be an admission of failure if somebody says, actually, I'm not making a lot of progress with this student. Different styles and different techniques can be good, and I think that if we find that we're struggling with a particular student, or they're not making progress, then I don't think we should be afraid to say, actually, maybe a different style, a different approach might achieve something better with this particular student. So I think we're all very good teachers. Perhaps we have different strengths in different areas, and I think that's part of using our collective as a team to be able to say, actually, do you know what? This maybe this student would be better with a different with a different teacher. I also think that sometimes if you spend too long with a student, they get used to your own style. And I think it's a good thing sometimes to say, actually, maybe a fresh approach, a different way of learning, a different way of getting across the message is a good thing. In terms of the quality, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to measure whether somebody is a good teacher or not, or whether they're not a good teacher or not, or whether they can perhaps develop more than others, and that is very subjective, as you've already said. One thing that is less subjective, perhaps can be measured, and we do measure, are the qualities of the activities. And we all put comments. We all give a mark to the activities, and I don't think we should be afraid to perhaps put in the notes that actually this activity didn't work because. Okay, and I think in terms of the materials that we use, we're referring to the activities, and I think that we ought to make sure that we concentrate that when we want to be able to say to someone, I'm going to give you a tool to be able to teach somebody something, and with that tool, what are we trying to achieve? So just a one paragraph text with nothing else is not giving a great tool. Okay, it's not actually helping someone. So I think the activities are something that we can very much measure. We ought to be thinking about what's the quality of this activity. Is it actually adding to our to what we're
Yeah,
trying to do? All right.
this is
So that is
true.
something that we do measure. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
true, but I have to tell you something that
Yeah.
before we had the measuring system of activities, when I asked this question to teach, I was asking it, I mean, years ago, yeah, because we have this measuring system of activities, and they would say, well, it's kind of impossible or it's very difficult because it's very subjective. I may like it, but then my colleague cannot, etc., etc. So my point and what I've learned along, especially these past months, where we've been talking with a lot of investors and we had to create parameters for everything. I learned one thing: everything can be measured, and you'll be surprised, and we'll see how it's measured. Just we'll get there, yeah. But even what you think cannot be measured can be measured, and can be measured in an amazingly exact way. So you'll be surprised. But I'm going to reveal just a minute, in a minute, that I agree that the system is something that is easier to measure because we've mastered it. So we've created a system that allows you guys in a after each performance to indicate, and moreover we're able to extract these activities, improve them, etc., etc. So this part of the system is kind of covered. But because we want also to see how we measure quality, not only of the material, so say we have the same material, the same conditions, but then we have one person that is performing better or worse, yeah, and we don't know why, yeah, we can see that. So before I tell you, I'm going to ask, because many people, so it was Susana, then Georgina, then Mari Carmen, yeah, in this order. So Susana, over to you.
Thank you. Hi, it's wonderful to be here with you all, and I've very interesting comments. I'd like to add to what's been said. I think for me anyway, one of the ways in which I measure myself as a teacher is if in the degree to which I feel that I have conveyed something clearly with clarity. because I do see that one of my tasks as a teacher is to transmit information in the clearest way. So in order to measure the quality of that clarity, there are very clear bullet points that I would attach to that. And then another thing that I keep in mind that is important to me is to remember that my students process information in different ways, that we don't all have the same way of processing information. So to be very sensitive and aware of that allows me to modify and adjust the way I'm transmitting information to the receptor, no? For example, the student. So these are things I keep in my mind as I check myself. And in terms of the activities, I think that activities can also be measured for quality in very specific ways. And I do feel that if the activity is well structured, clearly organized in a logical, sequential way, and then the teacher brings to that a clarity of transmission with the awareness that each student is going to process information in different ways, then perhaps I can approximate myself to providing quality.
That's
Those are
very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And I love the reflection, the self-reflection, which is very, very necessary after each of our performances. It's true. So regarding the activities, you guys are right. We've talked about it in the past that eventually they reflect the stage where that a whole group, the collective, achieves. Yeah, so activities are passing experiences from one another, so we can measure that in a pretty fair way. Now, Mari Carmen, over to you, and then Georgina.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I don't know if I'm hungry, but if it occurred to me to do a metaphor concerning this issue of quality and for activities and teachers. How I see things is that our activities is like making a pizza. If you have very simple flour, water, and salt, and water, flour, and salt are of good quality, those are our structure, vocab, and topic activities. And then the teacher is the cook. So obviously with really good activities, you can make a great pizza. It's really simple, but why is it that sometimes just with that we can't get the right timing, the right temperature, the right, same thing with teachers. So what I want to point out here is that our ingredients, our activities is the product of many years, many experiences of all the teachers reflected on each activity. So it's all there. It's all of us teachers having done so. And then the cook, the teacher, comes and does that different job. Plus the fact that we are continuously assessing those activities as well. That's why we keep improving those activities, because there is an assessment at the end of the class. Plus
Absolutely.
the feedback of the student that equals to the perfect balance between what the activities are, what the student's progress is, and therefore our quality, our performance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. This is true. Okay, this is true, and that provides a very fair framework to see how quality is going overall, right? Now, okay, Georgina, and then I'll tell you another two very, very important key performance indicators that will add more context to what you guys are explaining, yeah? So, Georgina, what's in your mind?
Yeah, lately I've been concerned with the quality of activities as well. It's something that's been on my mind lately, and I would agree maybe with Mark that it's true. And the fact of liking or not liking, maybe that's not the important criteria. The criteria is if it works. So as Susanna was saying, if the activities have a flow and they're logic and they have a sense, they're fine. But I find myself sometimes activities thinking, what is this doing here now? Why is this popping in here? It makes no sense. So I don't know how we could work together to improve that. Or, for example, there was a great activity called Glove Triangle, and it had images that were very good references for the students to learn the vocabulary. And suddenly, somebody worked on them and decided to remove the images. And I think that that was a very good move. So yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I'm concerned about this and how could we work together and thinking leave a logical state. And what I do when I review activities, I always put a heading to every single slide. And the heading indicates more or less what the student has to do. So that also, I try to give it sort of like a flow and to make them more communicative in a way. Or suddenly activities that have 3 different target languages. I don't know. So I don't know how we could work together. And then one other thing, Ramila, I don't understand. What's the criteria? Because sometimes in class, I have activities that should definitely be revised, but then in complementary work, I see things that are really well done. So I don't really know what the criteria is. And something that I said before, sorry, let me finish, please. Something I said before, I don't know if you could do this. Could we leave a little note for the activity, like Mark was saying, a little note? Why is this not working? And what do we suggest? Why? Because if you get into an activity, it takes some time to process your mind. What is the activity about? What are the stages? What are that? And then you get to the conclusions. We need this. But of course, after like 10 classes a day or 8 classes a day, I don't have the time to improve all of that. So if we could leave a note for the next teacher, when they take that activity to revise it, they have like some clues of what has to be done. Because if not, I go to complementary work, I have to read all of it, understand what's the objective, understand what has to be going on, understand what's going on. So I think we could actually work together in an optimized way if we sort of like give each other clues of what could be done in those activities. Well, those are my thoughts.
If you want to go that road, we'll devote an entire session to it. But then I'll be much more demanding because when we see a problem but we don't reflect enough, or when we don't see the whole context, the conclusions can be wrong. So I think that today we're not talking about activities. Maybe next time we will be talking exactly about activities. But I'm going to put you in the same context, yeah? So like musicians, well, they can play the same beautiful music by Beethoven and perform it badly or greatly. So this is what I'm talking about, yeah? Because it's true that difficulties or not, we can measure activities. I agree with all of them. We can improve activities. I agree with all of them. But it is true that under the same conditions, the point is, how do we measure the quality of performance? How do we measure quality of performance? Which is the question that the only person that was a little bit close to the answer, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, that gave you very good clues was Elham. But to that, we have to think, yeah, because it's very easy to say, to take a book and to analyze how bad a book is or how bad an activity is, and that's it. Yeah, it's not about us, it's about the book, it's about the activity, end of the problem. No, I'm going to put you back on the problem. The problem is, how do we measure performance, quality of performance of teachers? And guys, we need to answer this one. No matter how uncomfortable some might feel, this is the question for today, yeah? This is the one. And I'll tell you how. You need to know, because not only it will make you better teachers, it will make you better entrepreneurs. You need to know something that any business is measured with its key performance indicators. And you will know by the progress of your students, yes, but then there are 2 more indicators. One is the lifetime of your students. So, what does that mean? The lifetime of my student. It's not what I do in this class. Yes, it is. It's not what I do in this class. It's what the whole perception of the student until they decide to either leave or stay. So it's this, how long the student is with us, because I mean, if you tell me they've learned everything they need to move on, perfect, I give you that. Or they've achieved their objective, perfect. But I'm not talking about that one student that struggles, or that one teacher. No, I'm talking about general performance, many students. So lifetime of students, remember this, guys, it's very, very important. The average lifetime of students is very, very good indicator on how we're performing. So this is something that we don't talk about it so much, but I'll give you a couple of facts because they're very relevant for you, and for us, for all of us, for us as an organization. One, when that we analyze performance all the time, that's why all this big data is. So you've heard me saying that we've found out that in open web classes people learn faster because it's somehow the dynamics of the open web class exclude waste of time. The dynamics of the open web class focuses better what is necessary for you guys to cover. While in one-to-one classes, sometimes we waste more time in small talk on things that are not learning, on things that are not so relevant, on things that are not new knowledge. Therefore, even though the collective class of 3 or the shared class of 3, there are more people, but the learning pace is faster. Now, when we analyze the business from the point of view of metrics, then we discovered that in one-to-one classes, lifetime of students is of an average 13 months. Yes, some will stay more, some will stay less, average 13 months. But in open web classes, it's 18 months. So what does that tell you? How do you read that? Who would like to give it a go? Georgina, go ahead.
Well, mathematically speaking, from what you said, that they're better. If people stay, they're better because they enjoy them and they value them better. They might have a feeling that they're more effective. And if you don't like them, you just leave. So if they stay, well, I guess the quality is higher. They like them, they enjoy them. They think they have a feeling in the sense that they learn a lot, or they learn more. That it's fruitful for them, that it's useful for them, I guess.
Okay, so this is one thing, of course. Marisol, your interpretation?
Yes, well, I think that maybe it's because they're interacting. There's another student at least there with them, and that's important because it flows sometimes. If it's just you, the teacher, and the student, right? Well, to make it more dynamic, right, you have to, the effort is bigger, whereas in an open web class with one or two more students, right, they're interacting, I don't know, I've noticed that, they're engaging more maybe, and time flows for them, so.
Yes, so they're learning from peers. This is true. It's true that learning from peers helps a big deal. And also there is another thing that Mary, go for it. Can you hear us? You have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. It's similar to Marisol's point. I would term it creating a community of practice. When you do that, there's an energetic kind of transmission that happens when people meet together. And I believe that that's a very strong component of learning when we are in groups and when we are sharing learning rather than, just the one-on-one. So that would be my perspective.
It's interesting, very valid. Thank you for that. There is another thing that can be added to what you guys just mentioned. Mark?
One of the things that I've noticed in the open web classes is an element of competitiveness between the students,
Yes.
which when I ask them make comments on something. They are very keen to talk and almost, if you like, sort of possess the conversation for as long as they possibly can. And obviously, you have to manage that to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to talk. But when you've got a one-to-one class, there's no pressure. There isn't this small competitive element. You're not competing against another student. And whether we like it or not, we are all, to some degree, we're all competitive to a
Yeah.
greater or lesser degree. And I've noticed that when you've got two or three or four students in a class, then it improves the performance of the other students because they're all looking to show what they know. They're looking to show that they understand better, and therefore they push themselves a little bit further. That's just something that I've noticed. I don't know whether other
Yeah.
people have spotted that.
Mhm. This is true as well. Yeah, it's true. Mari Carmen, over to you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I agree with Mark, but let's be careful when we are saying this when it concerns kids and competition, because that's a delicate point there. Maybe with adults it can happen, but with kids we have to be very aware of not turning this competition in something uncomfortable and try to keep motivating them so we don't fall into
Yeah.
some.
That.
Mhm. And also, just one more thing, that
Yeah.
sometimes when students are in class and they ask something or the teacher corrects them properly in what it should be, it occurs to the other student that, oh, I didn't know that either. Now I know, because maybe they didn't think about asking that or they didn't make that mistake, but they were bound to make it. So, of course, that helps a lot in improving and accelerating the process.
Okay, so when you talk about the competition between kids, I think it's good, but I guess you mean that someone can feel a bit overwhelmed or left behind, right? Because
That's
of
right.
more dominant kids.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's right.
So
So that needs to be taken care of as well. Mhm.
okay, yeah, competition is great, but we have to, yeah, I agree with you. There is another element when that happens with students, and probably that improves the experience. The fact that they are guided by different teachers. This is something that they really appreciate and opens tremendously broadens their perspective as learners, as speakers, and not only it helps them understand different accents, but they learn from all your cultures and backgrounds, and they really improve their comprehension in the first place, and they get out of their comfort zone. So every new teacher achieves that, which makes it even more engaging. Yeah. So if even with the best teacher in the world, if we repeat the same dynamics again and again, we are kind of predictive. We're being predictive. When we change, then another mechanism start operating, and which bring variety, which bring a lot of positive energy to the student. And when we come back to our students, when we meet them after some time, we actually, in this moment, we can see how much they've learned, even more than when we teach them every day. It's like observing a child grow, yeah. But there is another indicator, another one that really tells us a big deal about quality of teachers. So the first one that adds to what all of you guys expressed was the lifetime of students. There is another one. Marisol, have you raised your hand now, or that was from before?
No, sorry, Radmila, that was from before.
Okay, so the second key performance indicator. Georgina, over to you.
No, I was thinking of this second key indicator. I don't know, but the students rate us? I mean, this might be a bit harsh, but the students
Yeah.
also rate the teachers, and we get stars and something like that, right? Would that be an
Yes.
indicator?
Yes, no, no. This is more for you, for yourself, for self awareness, so that you are the students. This is important, but it's for every individual personally to be able to do these adjustments, these tweaks, so that they can do it better next time. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that has to do with, okay, so referrals. Referrals. You know that when we're happy with a service, we recommend it. This is it. It's something as simple as this. When we're happy with a class, we recommend it. When we're happy with a teacher, we recommend it. Which is what was mentioned last time. Yeah. So referrals. Only that here in referrals, probably it's a bit easier to spot and to link it to a specific teacher in one-to-one. Yeah, on the contrary of with the previous indicator, which is lifetime. But here in one-to-one, it can be easier. But in open web classes, again, it's possible, right? Or in companies, it's possible. So referrals is that indicator that tell us how the quality is, or how the system, what's the performance. If it's beyond, if it's good performance, if it's above or below the standards. Yeah, referrals. So with good performance, we have teachers that bring more students, right? So this is the element that we started discussing about last week. And I think that it's worth explaining a little bit more about that, because, it's very easy to say, yeah, but if I don't have, an immediate gain, apparently, yeah, I can be a good teacher, but with or without referrals, I'm not getting anything out of it. And I think that this is a teacher trap. Yeah, so referrals is very indicative of how well or not teachers are doing, and you have to know how to play with it, guys, with this parameter. So all in all, when I'll try to explain it in this way. When you go to a class, of course, you want to do it in the best possible way, right? But when you go to a class as a teacher, actually, I don't know if you are aware of this or not. Maybe you probably don't think of it, but two people go to that class, the teacher and the partner. With every class, two people, let's say that two people are behind that class, the teacher and the partner. And here, just a slight deviation, but we'll go back to this topic. Who do you think your partner is? Who's your partner when you go to a class? Bev, who's your partner? Or Georgina is always willing to answer. So, okay, I'll ask Georgina. Oh, Susanna.
No. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Susanna, who's your partner when you go to a class? We can't hear you. You're muted.
Well, in my mind, my student is my partner, because I'm actually creating learning with the student, I think,
Okay.
I also feel that whoever is mentoring me, or whoever is sponsoring me in some way, is also my partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It is, yeah.
In addition to the platform that I'm using, that is also, Oxinity is also my partner, and the material that I'm using.
Oxinity is your partner, but in this case, let's say that, we provide a service. So as providers of service, we are your partner, but there is another partner of yours that you go to a class, yeah? When you meet a student, there is another party there. Who would that be? Come on,
The
guys.
teacher
Anyone?
that brought the students in.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So that teacher, that Jordan, was that what you meant to say?
No, I was going to say the support team. I could just about think of who else
The
was there.
support team. Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
They're all also there. Yeah, absolutely. The support team, applause for them. It's true, the support team. Yeah, I was thinking that your partner is the person that provided the class, that recruited the class in the first time, is also there. Yeah, so that person is really interested in the success of this class. Okay, so when we think of it, when we think about the classes that we perform, yes, we think about our students. Yes, we're thankful to the support team, but we have to think also that this class was possible because of our partner. And the partner has to think that the class will be possible because of the teacher, right? So these are the two parties that really need each other, and then they have to interact in the best possible way. Georgina?
Yeah, this got me thinking. Of course, the student belongs to the owner, whatever, and they're involved in the class. They are interested in the class, but I think we have to start thinking that it's somebody just like us, right? Because I think we're used to other models. Yeah, we work for academies, whatever, but here we're working with people who are exactly like us, and they have the same interest as us. They have the same need as us. So we share the same mindset and we share the same outcome. And I think this is something nice to keep in mind. It helps us to keep that in mind. And some months ago, I was just thinking, like always, and at one point, I felt I was fusing myself with Lina and Blanca and Sonia. Like I was them as well because we are the community. So yeah, there's an individual partner, but we're all the same. And this is something that we have to think, right? And what I do directly affects it triggers a long chain of events, starting with support staff, which are essential. But this is the way I don't really care who the individual partner is, but it is a partner. And just for that, it is hyper important that I deliver the best class possible for me, of course, and for them. But I always think of them first.
Yeah.
If it weren't for others, we wouldn't be here. So I have this way of thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is really important that we have these considerations. Yeah. Otherwise, it's kind of very, I don't know, it ends with us, but it shouldn't end with us. Eventually, when we are in front of a student, all the people that go with us matter. Yeah. And just to summarize it, another way of measuring good performance of teachers is when we have referrals through that teacher, we know that that teacher is making an amazing job. Yeah, so a great teacher generates business. As simple as this. A great teacher generates business. If if the business that we are given, if the classes that we're given end with us, yeah, it can be for a series of reasons. It's not that we are bad, and I'm not saying that, but it is the opposite is true, that great teachers generate business. And here is where we have to decide, guys. Yeah, so whether what do we do with it, whether we share or not with our partner, yeah, which is the starting point of the discussion last time. And here is my reflection is think of the partner as the partners will think of you, because you are both on the same side of the equation, on the same side of the business. Partners will, the more business you bring, the more partners will rely on you. So the more hours you will get all in all, yeah. And partners, the more on your end as well. If you know that every time you rely on a teacher that is capable of increasing that business, then you're going to, it creates a relationship based on trust and good practices. So it's never Sharing or having this mindset always pays off, is always compensating you, both of you. On the contrary, if we say, all right, so if a partner thinks every time I have a client and then that client goes to that teacher and then I lose them, it's bad business. And the other way around, so both parties are very necessary in this equation. I hope if you think that way, you see the benefit for yourself being on one side or another. And many times you're on both sides, yeah? Many of you are teachers and partners at the same time. But no matter whether at one point you would act as a teacher or as a partner, this mindset of sharing and giving back is actually much more productive and much more beneficial long term than just whatever I take, I keep for myself and it dies with me. Okay, so Georgina and then Mari Carmen, over to you guys.
I was just thinking of what you were saying before, or we were discussing before, about quality and the fact of students who participate in open web classes and they have a longer lifespan, whatever, and what they appreciate is probably not only the accents, but the richness of the different cultures that we come from and the different techniques. And the thing is, if we were alone, we wouldn't never be able to do this. So the quality also implies being part of something bigger. And that something bigger involves this sharing and, well, all of what we're doing here right now. And I was thinking just about that. Alone, we would never, ever be able to accomplish all that we can accomplish working together. That's one. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So Mari Carmen and then Susana.
I just wanted to say that really, if there is not a real understanding of what you've just said, Radmila, that when one is teaching, is working on a referral, and when somebody else is teaching, is working on another possible referral, if this is not more than clear or crystal clear, it defeats the purpose of the community, full stop. That's all.
Yes. Yeah, you are always straight to the point, which is, yeah. I'll make sure that this phrase stays there. It's true, but it's true, absolutely. And Susanna, what's your opinion? No, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Yes, I had two thoughts from before. One was the comment about creating competition. I think that was a very important point. The idea of that comparison between students, creating a sense of comparison, is a very delicate matter. So I think that's very important to keep in mind. Keeping the balance, though, that it's exciting to be part of something that's sort of, it's very stimulating, I think, to have more than one element working, in the same way that what Georgina was saying, that a variety of teachers creates, enriches, amplifies the experience. Also, a community of students with their differences enriches, and I think that's why perhaps the open web can be more long-lasting. But I was struck because it seems to me that this is a very metaphysical sort of philosophical idea, that we are one, essentially. What this idea, we are not alone, that we are connected. This interconnectivity between the partners, the teachers, the students, the support system, the whole thing. So I like this as a philosophy, to bring it into a business model. I really enjoy. So just that.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's true. You're right, and I really would like to insist on that because we've been going over it in different words with our personality, everything. Everyone speaks from their experience, but we're saying the same here. Georgina has been saying it, expressing it a lot. Yeah, that we're a community. And the truth is, and I really would like you to understand that, first of all, you are not alone. This is very important. That's why I said, when you go to class, two people go to class. and the supporting team is also there. And guys, a good teacher needs someone who provides students. So we have to take care of each other, yeah, because behind each class there is someone that teaches and someone that gets the students. And if you associate, you will be unbeatable, because with this and with the tools and with the support, you have really a lot a lot. So you have to take care of each other. Right? If we take care of each other, then we're going to bring business for each other. A good teacher is interested in having good partners, and good partners are interested in having great teachers. So you guys have to take care of each other. All right? To put in simple words, and I don't want to use specific names, but those of you who are bringing business, these are your best partners. Okay, so the people that bring business, such as Georgina and Mari Carmen and many teachers among you, these are your best partners. These are the ones that you have to take care of with quality and with good preparation and with all the things that you mentioned, right? So by making them grow, you grow. You can't grow just because. By making them grow, you grow. They will make you grow if you make them grow. It's a symbiotic relationship here, okay? So questions, guys. Any question, anyone? Mary, you've raised your hand, but I don't know whether this was from before or not.
It was from before. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So anyone, any final words? No? Okay, so Susana, okay. Susana and Mari Carmen.
My question is technical because I'm new to this entire community. There's just everything that I don't know. But the idea, for example, how do I share my students, right? I have students now that I would like to share, for example. What is the process of doing that? Or this is very technical, I know, and probably in the training week I'll learn it. But that's one of the questions that comes to my mind.
Yeah, you will learn it, and actually it's easier than what you think. Every partner has, every partner, every teacher has a unique code. When students are shared, you keep ownership. This is the first thing that you have to remember always. And then when they are taught in the community, within the system, then you will get the margin from ownership. And to that, you can take as many classes as students you bring, if you want it. If I don't know your specific context, whether you have full availability, or whether you can't take more students and you want to grow in students but keep your hours. So this is something that we're going to decide together. But the system that we implement is that for every student that you bring into the system, you will receive an hour when you want it at a suitable time for you. So this is the first benefit. And how to do it with your IDC. We're going to instruct you. It's very easy. So Maria and I, once you finish this training week, are going to tell you. The most important thing is having this IDC code. So if you're registered into the system, then you will have that unique code, and we will know that these students come from you. That's not a problem whatsoever. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So any other question? Mari Carmen and Georgina had raised their hands.
Yeah, I just wanted to materialize this has been said, and maybe it would also help Susan a bit, just with a real case. So this is a real case where 3 students were doing one-to-one classes. because they didn't understand very well the open web classes. Eventually, they understood it. They're super happy with them. They're still here. And they brought a referral from Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Because that
Yeah.
kid was Spanish, but he was sent there for a year, and the mother wanted, to reinforce. So they had the referral from the Spanish kids. I don't know anything about this kid myself because it's Massachusetts Times, but they're teachers, partners, thank you very much, that are taking care of that. So this is a clear example of the win-win situation where together, working together, the community works
Absolutely.
in benefit of all of us. And this is a real beautiful example because of the zones, etc.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. It's great that you share. So, Mark, Bev, do you guys after this, after what was said today, do you see value in this, in the fact that when you actually help your partners grow, you grow as well? Do you see value in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry. Carry on.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I was just confirming. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
Okay.
fully. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. Working together obviously is something that is absolutely fundamental. I think that just to, if you like, sort of just wrap up, if you like, this question of about quality, which is something that we have focused on today. That bringing in or working together, being partners, bringing in business, bringing in clients is essential. The Oxinity will not exist if it doesn't have clients. So that is by far the most important thing. However,
Okay. Yeah.
in order for it to survive, in order for the relationship to continue with our clients, then quality is also of supreme importance. And I think we have to remember that the two are fundamental. Just bringing in the clients, fantastic, but the job doesn't end there. Quality and being able to then actually give a good product is what is also essential to keeping. So existing, bring in the client, surviving and prospering, quality.
Exactly. That's what. Thank you for wrapping it up because this is exactly it. So it takes two people, to take care of it. The one that brings the client, but you're right, the one that keeps, and that's why I was talking in the first place about lifetime. If the lifetime is short, that means that the balance is broken. But if the lifetime is longer, that means that quality is absolutely, So I just want to tell you something because you have sometimes the perception that you are not, in your words, I may not quote you fairly, but you say that sales are not your forte, but I think that it's exactly the opposite. Because you're not selling, because you do good classes, you're doing the best possible job in to help your partner, you see. So this is it. Sometimes we perceive sales at, okay, come here and I'm going to try to sell you something that you don't need. It's not that. It's not that. When we do our job,
Radmilla, I couldn't sell air conditioning to Arabs. I'm sorry, but it's just I am useless at sales.
It's not that. Believe me, by doing good classes, you're doing the best, the best job in it, the best possible job. You are so. You will be the preferred teacher. You and people like you, will be the preferred teacher for all those people that have brought business in the first place, because this is. So it's, I know that right now you think sales are convincing someone, but eventually we don't have to. Sometimes Maria, for instance, Maria from the whole community is the best salesperson here. But Maria's pitch is very simple. Try one class and you'll see. So imagine up to what extent we're confident that by doing things right, the student will perceive that and they will stay. So the best possible, um, the best way to keep someone with us is doing it right, doing a good job. So I just want you guys to understand that how a team works and how you are so, so intrinsically necessary to each other. That was it. I think it was clear. But eventually, Georgina, for instance, because it started with her last time, who brings clients, she's not, maybe she doesn't even consider herself as a salesperson, but she definitely can generate business. And if we are able, you guys are able to keep that business and bring more, she will be the first one to give it back to you. Yeah, this is it. Okay, Mari Carmen, you've raised your hand, or that was from before?
I just wanted to say one more sentence that's very obvious, but I just needed. If we do exist, is because we have great teachers, great partners, and meetings like today that we have to keep up, of course. That's why we exist, and that's why we're growing, and that's why we're doing better every day. And I'm very happy to witness it.
Great, thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, guys, so good teachers, they keep good lifetime. Remember this, good teachers bring business to partners. This is it. And partners, in exchange, give it back to them. That's how it works, right? So if you feel that you're not so good at sales, do not worry. Do the classes to the best of your standards. You will get referrals, and the partners will bring more business to you, more hours to you until you get full schedule. Yeah, this is it. So let's go and create the system. I can see how willing you are. I can see that you want to make it happen. So fantastic. We move forward. Yeah. And next time we'll deal with more quality issues that I can feel that are of interest. So we'll deal with them as well. Okay. All right, guys. So thank you very
Brilliant.
much. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Rosa.
And
Yes, thank
yeah,
you.
have a wonderful weekend.